Okay, I assume my commentary is live right now, right?
Yes, we're starting.
Sounds good.
Mhm.
Well, welcome everybody. I'll be holding it down for a little bit. It's Rubber. Probably no one else has heard me talk, so it's great to be here. But yeah, gonna be very interesting playing two people who don't exactly choose to block often. A lot of them prefer to press a lot of great buttons and a lot of RE, especially coming out of one character is better than the other. Tom having probably one of the best REs in the game, and Zaz I think having particularly one of the worst. It's definitely very interesting to see how they're gonna approach very good pressure. Starting off already with a very good wall combo out of Sly. Great pressure. Oh, tries for the interrupt, gets counter hit. He's gonna cash in a lot of damage here. 50-50 here. Ooh, another reset off that. Very good. Great roll Sly and great way to end the round.
Boy, oh boy, it looks like I got here late. I apologize.
Yeah, how Jay? How are you gonna get here later than I am?
It's just my natural predilections, I suppose.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you here. Definitely need help.
Oh, I don't know about that. We will see. This is honestly, despite the fact that Slytiger and Munchers, I am sure, have played in these in a variety of different things quite a lot, I'm struggling to remember a whole lot of times that I've ended up seeing this matchup. I remember this matchup used to be pretty difficult for Talon. A lot of the multi-hit strings and a lot of the evasion that Talon would be able to throw out would kind of fall flat against Zaz's multi-strings. Now I don't know if that's necessarily the case.
I've already seen the first of the REs. I expect a lot of this in the set from both these players.
Yeah. Sly will be doing a lot of RE because that's what you do, and Nitty will be doing a lot of RE because that's what he does.
Oh, great. Go neutral here. Good mash there.
Got a lot of guard damage working up. Also, that's another thing that we were potentially going to be seeing quite a lot of, is guard breaks from both players. But I guess mostly Nitty gets fantastic while rising there. You do have to be worried about that CE, though. Oh, that was not the CE that I was implying.
Oh, he lets it rip!
Yes, it works out.
Nitty was absolutely believing that there's no chance he wants to finish that string. Finish the CE and just wanted to go into stance pressure, but strong way to close it out.
Imagine that Sly was going to cancel and then he was just going to do a CE. I feel like that's a bit ambitious, but we'll see if that ends up happening later on in the set.
Already starting off the Nitty kick on negative. It's pretty much a staple of this player.
Curious to see what kind of anti-character setups that we're going to see from both players. Because a lot of them have like a lot of non-jailing highs, a lot of string pressure, and it can turn into kind of what we're seeing here, where it's just like somebody goes offensively and then the other person goes offensively, and they just kind of play hot potato in terms of non-interactive power. But there's a lot of counterplay that you can have from the pressure that you deal with from both characters. So I don't know how much of that we're going to see.
It's definitely going to be a very interesting how they're actually going to... I feel like both these players love running with momentum. That as soon as they start an offense, they don't want to let the offense die out early. So it's definitely going to be interesting. Nitty
Something that Sly is going to have to get used to kind of a lot is that Nitty throws out that full crouch 3K more than anyone's business, especially awkwardly in neutral. And if you can't figure out that timing, it's going to end up getting you beat up kind of a lot. But speaking of getting beat up, it looks like that guard pressure is potentially going to be coming in. No, it's kind of what I was talking about before.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Great side step.
Okay. Seems like Nitty's initial idea is the way to go at the moment. Not seeing a whole lot of counterplay from either player yet. As time goes on, we might start seeing some sidesteps on the 3A-B holds from Zaz. We may see some ducks on the 3A-Ks. Especially the duck, I think, is much more important, because I imagine getting the sidestep on 3A-B hold could potentially be difficult for Talon. Very wide stance. Makes it very difficult to utilize a sidestep in that way. And Nitty, on the other hand, might have some natural counterplay just instinctually from his style, from just doing a lot of full crouch 3Ks, to duck a lot of the non-jailing highs in Talon's pressure. So that might end up being something that is difficult for Sly to deal with as time goes on. It's a matter of what the counterplay is going to be like.
It's definitely one of the big factors, especially when playing Nitty, is how well can you react to the 3AB string.
Yeah.
If you're able to understand when he wants to throw charge rather than when he wants to throw the uncharged be negative, it really helps. I think ducking the 3AK is going to be really important because I think in this matchup, Tom ends up having to block a good amount, and Zoss's guard pressure is incredible in this game. So
not to mention, like, getting a wall rising punish for Tom, I think is a pretty big deal. Okay, get some pretty solid wall hits. Now, any kind of wall hit is basically going to kill for both players, and that's going to be the way it is for basically the whole game. Oh boy.
Oh wow, what a call out there. Going to cash in a lot of damage here.
Yeah, I wonder if we're going to see a lot more A+Bs from Nitty than you would typically have, just because one can expect a Talon player to use Reversal Edge more often than Breathing.
It is the preferred defensive option of all Talon mains out there. It also very interesting to see that Sly didn't get out of the fake combo. I believe that only Amy has to eat the one curse combo.
It is a little bit awkward because you have to tech back, then tech back again. Like, the initial tech back is necessary for the most part, but then on top of things, like, it won't actually get you out of anything right off the bat. A lot of reverse ring out pressure coming out here, just totally stunning Sly in place. He's not going to get anything from his soul charge. In fact, he's going to lose over half his life.
Oh, Ops to actually go into stance this time.
Yeah, it makes sense. A lot of Zoss's pressure is going to be RE safe. It's just the fact that Talon will get additional counterplay. No punish on that 6K, and I think that's going to solidify the round, isn't it?
Yeah.
Man, this character does damage.
Not to mention there was a 50 for Yoki after that, so it wasn't exactly a fun option at that point. Going 0 again. I love this use of 3K right there. It beats pretty much almost every option that Nitty would want to go for in that scenario.
I appreciate trying to get away from the 6BB. Does not get a punish there. Yeah, Nitty is not pressing a button in that spot. That's going to just straight up give him a curse. I almost said Rose, that's funny. It's going to give him a curse for his guaranteed punish. I feel like Sly has to go for something other than just a straight up forward ring out.
Going the reset here. Is it going to be the lower or mid? It's such a difficult scenario at that point. You don't have a lot of good options.
Would the low have killed? I'm not 100% sure.
I think it would have. It would have been very close. Oh, the first lethal. I expect to see that lethal a lot this game.
He hasn't really used that part of his stance all that much yet. He's just been going for, you know, the -14, the A+B. So, you know, I hope you're right. I hope we end up seeing a lot more mixes with the forward running stance.
Oh, he calls out. Tries to call the backstep and got very unlucky not to get his punish for it. He had a very good read there.
No punish on these 6Ks, I think, is going to be devastating for Nitty in the long run in this set. If this continues the way that it is, I mean, I understand, block punishing 6K is an absolute terror online, but we're talking about a pretty solid punish on Zoss's side there, and to lose that every time in a first attempt is going to be bad news bears. Is he going to try and RE and cancel it so that he can kill with the bubble? Well, I guess he doesn't get a chance to, okay.
Doesn't even get the chance to it. Even up 1-1. I'm not gonna lie, these games, they've gone to a lot of rounds, but they've been fast. They've not been
very
out
fast
rounds.
Yeah, I think it's kind of what we were talking about before, right? We haven't seen a lot of character counterplay yet, and so it's really just been a matter of somebody presses a lot of buttons in the other person's face, and eventually they fall down. There's not a lot of back and forth. Where the chunks of life that are coming out of some of this offensive pressure can be measured in gallons, not, you know, milliliters.
It definitely fits both players, though, being that they will more often than not mash and try to keep their turn as long as humanly possible, rather than defending as soon as they start. As soon as the other person weathers the storm. Ow! What a punish on the 6K.
Yeah, relatively neutral stage. Honestly, you know, when I think of Zossalamo ringouts, I think of Pharamantras, not necessarily Nitty, and I'm wondering if he's going to be able to throw out a lot of, like, reverse ringout and forward to the side ringouts on a stage like this, where the half wall, like, quote-unquote exists, but, like, it really doesn't, you know what I mean? Like,
it doesn't
necessarily exist there all that much.
In theory, it exists. I like the mix in the low here. I think it's a very good option at this point. Throwing a high there runs a huge risk, and blocking the low wouldn't have been the worst thing for Sly to take the damage.
Yeah, he hasn't really done a high in that position kind of at all yet. He's basically just been doing a pretty good job mixing up mid-low from the back turn stance. If he can keep that up, he'll be in ship shape. Yeah, see, not getting these punishes on the 6Ks is pretty devastating. And you can kind of tell that Sly feels ever more comfortable just jamming 6K in a variety of places, despite the fact that we're dealing with a character that's basically all mids.
We'll get caught stepping on negative.
No, the last time I saw somebody punish that was in, like, 1904.
I have never punished that move in my life. I get counter hit more often. I get counter hit more often on the 3rd hit rather than I actually get a punish. That move is just extremely annoying because it's essentially you just gotta commit to after you block the first one, just press your fastest button and take your punch. Thank you, great lethal hit right there.
I feel like Sly's getting a little bit more comfortable. Nitty very much not getting more comfortable. Sly keeps assuming that Nitty's going to be pressing a button when he's in that stance for the A+B, and it's just like it's never hitting. Yeah, I feel like just go with like slower pressure here. I think that's the way to go here.
I would really like to see him, but the fact that Nitty isn't punch 6K, I would like to see him jam more 6Ks in these neutral spots, because Nitty has shown his willingness to use full crouch 3K, no matter the time. And I think to be successful against this player, you have to be able to make him feel uncomfortable pressing that button.
Very awkward little bit of spaghetti at the very end where they're just throwing meter at each other in the forms of CEs. Sly ends up coming out on top, which is a pretty big deal because Zos also has that guard crush to potentially get worried about as well. Something tells me this is going to go down to the last round. Nitty simply has too much meter to kind of like let this go, I feel like.
It's definitely. I think right now Sly's really going to start working the guard gauge here. And I think if he's very smart, I would expect Sly actually start throwing a lot of horizontal shifts. I think Nitty is a very active player when his guard is in red. He really tried to prevent the guard crush, no matter the case.
Yeah, I agree. You kind of tell that Sly was trying to go for the full crouch. What is that? Full crouch 3A+B for the lethal hit when somebody's in red guard gauge. I feel like if he ends up going with stuff that's slower, it's going to be a little bit harder for him to get it. It's great that we ended up building up a lot of guard pressure, but I don't want that to dictate the entire rest of the pace.
Oh, big damage coming out here. We opt to go back into the stance. Yep. I appreciate the option trying to call it the GI there at the low.
Well, the one time he didn't do the A+B is the one time that Nitty ended up pressing the button. I think this is just gonna do not enough. Guard Crush is probably not gonna be a big deal here, so now it's up to Nitty to make this meter mean a whole hell of a lot. We'll see. He's got a curse. Yeah.
Oh, the retrack.
Not a whole lot that you can do about that. The second that thing is gonna break guard, I don't know, man. You basically just have to, like, GI it on reaction.
You have to GI, or you really have to commit to a full commit, like double sidestep to even get lucky at times. Because sometimes even if you're sidestepping, that move is getting tracked.
I don't know.
Sauce sidestep is bad. I feel like I've been able to sidestep as Hilda, and if Hilda can sidestep it, almost every character in this game can.
Pardon me.
Or random stage, back on the same stage.
King of England. Haven't necessarily seen Nitty in the full-on driver's seat since. Well, okay then.
Speaking into existence.
Pardon me, all the hell.
I very much appreciate these aggressive 6xps. Really trying to mix life here. Oh, great lethal hit.
Is he out here? No. Okay.
Like the mix here? Take it.
Wow, he just like stood in place for a while and then did a back grab. That was kind of crazy. Still, I'm not necessarily convinced. I feel like Sly's offensive pressure is winning the day so far, and I haven't necessarily seen Nitty gain the ability to try and, like, figure it out. The second that Sly gets in here, I mean, like, the entire health bar can just melt. He hasn't been correct on any back turn mixes kind of at all. And so, like, if his option is just to be like, okay, well, I'm going to meet his offense with my offense, I think Column's offense is better. Column's offense is easier to start from farther away. It's really difficult to deal with that dash in, and so I think the defense is really going to have to ratchet up here. Or you can get lucky for a first attempt.
Oh, I was about to say, I think he might have... Sly was about one shot away from being into a 50-50 mix for life at that point. But yeah, I really would have liked to see Nitty use meter in that last round. Sly didn't even have half a bar when that round started. And being able to soul charge with his Zaw's Soul Charge is very strong Soul Charge. Being able to Soul Charge there and go up 2 rounds potentially would have been very valuable.
And he has gotten a lot of success with the meter, with the Soul Charge as it is. I've just always found Nitty to be kind of a miser when it comes to that sort of thing. Yeah, he is, isn't he?
Oh,
First ring that we've had on this stage, that's going to be pretty killer. Zaz ends up losing a bar, no real guard crush to speak of. I think this is going to be a very similar match to the one that we had before, where Sly's going to end up winning it, but, oh man, if only he had committed.
He got damage, but man, that A plus B lethal would have been really nice to have.
See, I think this is literally just going to be like a resource round for Sly. I feel like Nitty is going to be forced to drain certain resources, or he's just going to win outright. I mean, Nitty is dead to a CE here.
Oh, give me a 1K. Okay. Yes! I very much appreciate it. He hasn't thrown 1K out yet. It's such a strong move for Talum, especially for round ending.
Yeah.
It is, I'm very happy to see that adjustment. Oh, it's a fantastic move. I'm pretty sure it's 0, and you have 6K that you can jam down half the time.
6K, so 4-4B.
Yeah.
Just anything to get them to stop pressing button. Not to mention the obvious counter hit hunting that Talum is one of the best characters in the game at.
Yeah, I'm not just surprised I haven't. We did get part. I'm surprised I haven't seen Sly use 6B more often. I think that is such a strong tool for Talum that does an unbelievable amount of damage on counter hit. I think for how Nitty plays, really, there is opportunities to take advantage of like the Nitty the full card 3Ks he throws out while negative. To fish for those counter hits.
The problem that he's having is that, for one, Nitty isn't really backdashing all that much. He really just kind of either sidesteps, and then, you know, Sly would end up getting jammed with like a 2-2B. Or it's just like really having a tough time trying to deal with that full crouch 3K time. Because it's awkward enough and full crouch 3K is fast enough to where 6B will end up getting jacked more often than not. And so I guess it's just a matter... And the fact of the matter is, Sly is not really in a position where he has to change up what he's doing, right? It's really much more about the ball being in Nitty's court at the moment. And the last 2 games have gone basically identical. It just feels like Nitty can be in charge at the beginning, but eventually the Talum offense is just simply too much.
Yeah, it really seems like Nitty really needs to figure out a better way of dealing with Talum, and especially I think with Zal's strong neutral tools, I would really see him try to create more space. I think being able stuck in this really close quarters fight is really hard for Zaz to really take advantage of. Oh my, that call was incredible. What a great punish.
Yeah, fantastic punish on top of it. Oh, he stole the bar too. That is some really gross stuff. But yeah, I totally agree. I mean, for the most part, yeah, Nitty can get like these fantastic barrages of offense going. It's just that I really feel like the in-close game, the counter-hit game, you're really playing into Talum's hands here. I think we're both playing very similar ideas of gameplay, and Talum is better at it. So she ends up getting gigantic chunks of damage like this, and Zaz can't necessarily keep up. Zaz has to build up curses to get bigger damage than Talum is getting right now. Until Nitty's able to come up with some counterplay, this is basically going to be the whole first to 10, I think.
I really feel like at this point, if Nitty can, you know, keep that neutral game right there, fantastic backstep there, I think he really's got to start making Sly feel uncomfortable, but just stand guarding. I think he needs to start mixing some grabs, something that really would give Sly... Oh, fantastic.
This is the kind of counterplay I was talking about. This is really what's going to rise Sly to the top. I mean, so he eats a CE, and that's going to be the way it is, but this has been the game plan literally every game since Sly started winning, right? We go down to the last round, and there's always something going against Nitty. He doesn't have the meter advantage, he doesn't have the guard crush advantage, something or another. It always goes down to the last round, and it's a resource battle where Sly is able to choke Nitty of all his resources.
Start with a great counter in 2-2-8. I'm very happy that Sly recognized that it's time to start containing when you want up, because you know Nitty's looking for bigger hits to get back into the game. Oh,
kind of a shame he didn't get an actual punish there. He could get reverse rung out here. I'm actually kind of sad that we ended up seeing the bar, and now we're just going to do this, like, soul charge race. It's going to be a battle of the ring outs, I think. Yep, got Sly standing in place. Getting more mixes here. Okay, here we go. Now here comes the bar from Sly. He ends up going for a counter hit CE. This is going to do a good chunk of damage in pretty deep yellow, but it's not going to do it yet. Nitty is still in the driver's seat. We're far away. Okay. Not even with the lethal hit, because it was counter.
Just a counter hit enough to do enough damage. Oh my.
I mean, I guess it's kind of a poison chalice the way that Nitty's playing at the moment, because I feel like a lot of the offensive pressure that ended up going well for him in that game was just off of counter hit hunting off like 3 AK and stuff, and I feel like that can only work out for you so long. I've never understood how people build entire game plans off of just counter hit hunting. I just don't. To get that level of innate timing seems very difficult to do, especially in a first to 10. So Sly almost to halfway there. We'll see if he can continue to elongate his lead in a small box of a stage.
Definitely much for a Tom stage. He doesn't have room to move anymore, and Tom's wall game is notoriously
so
strong.
Much better. Yeah. Wow, what a challenge on that 4-6 speed. Tom already almost with a bar though. I feel like we might end up seeing a bar at the end of this round from Sly. May not even need it if we're gonna get resets like this. Oh boy.
Oh, is he dead for this?
I think he is, yeah.
He's absolutely
he doesn't even need to use
close.
meter. It's like the easiest combo in the universe, and he's dead.
Nitty was dead for about 20 more health.
Yeah.
That was a very painful start. I love the meter spin.
Yeah, I
here.
like aggressive soul charging. Absolutely. You see, kind of Nitty's main idea when dealing with somebody in soul charge is just to, like, if they don't have meter to like go back, like just soul charge back, it's just to be aggressive and try to like put himself once again on the offense. But again, I just feel like, you know, a little bit of a lag spike ends up destroying the combo. But you can see the difference in like the sheer damage disparity between these two characters right now. Without the curses, just playing small caliber where they're both fishing for counter hits, Talon wins. Talon wins against most characters in the game. I just don't know if you can keep this up, you know?
Oh,
yeah,
God.
The character is much faster, the character's stances are a lot scarier. I mean, I don't know if Nitty can win this way.
I really think he needs to make the adjustment of when he gets his time in his turn, to start mixing in some grabs. Sly has shown his willingness and he's comfortable just standing and blocking, because all his slows aren't usually the most threatening things outside when he has curses. And it's really starting to show that Nitty really can't find a more unique way of forcing his offense.
If I had to guess, and this is just a guess, this is just an assumption, the reason why Nitty isn't grabbing all that much is because he's worried about Talon's RE. Which is kind of funny because I just get the impression, just based on the moves that Nitty is using for his pressure, they're all RE safe. He's really trying to make sure that he continues to be RE safe, despite the fact that we frankly haven't really seen Sly use RE since like the second game. There was like that one A+B lethal hit, and I feel like Sly has come up with a way of playing this matchup that doesn't require reversal edge. So yeah, I agree. Like I think something has to occur here to mix up a certain level of offense.
I still cannot believe that 2A+B off of the 2 curse 4-6B just whiffed.
Yeah, I don't know what was up with that.
I was so confused by that. But man, Sly started having huge damage. Great whiff punch. As soon as I said the grab, immediately ducks.
Yeah, clearly Ruber was 100% wrong there.
Completely
and
wrong.
Thank God I 100% disagreed with him. Sly consistently trying to challenge. Okay, and I understand why. Yeah, that was like 3rd time's the charm. He kept trying to like sidestep that kind of stuff, perfectly willing to get hit by the second hit of the string if it didn't become sidestep worthy, and just so he could like win the round. He was just like playing the odds at that point. So Sly is halfway there, 5-1. We'll see if Nitty comes up with something. Frankly speaking, he needs better defense. He needs better defense to the strings. He needs to be able to get his turn more often, and he can't continue to play the same game that Sly is playing. The only way, like, he might be able to win like a handful of games still within this first to 10. I just don't think that it can be consistent playing the way that it is at the moment.
Yeah, he will not be able to make up the ground he's lost currently, and I think this comes down to a lot better of a. I think especially when he gets stanchions, just start, just hammering 2As. You got to make Sly choose other options, make him start thinking and make him feel more uncomfortable. Because right now, Sly just seems he's perfectly comfortable doing anything he wants, because Nitty hasn't really shown anything else outside of his initial defense. And when your opponent doesn't really change what they're doing the entire game, it becomes very comfortable.
Getting a lot of standing reset ducks from Sly at this point, so kind of going back to 3AK would honestly probably be a better option. Okay, yeah, something like that isn't a bad idea at all.
Oh, wow!
Sly has not
punished.
Because Sly has pressed a button /ducked on every single standing reset so far. Still hits grounded.
Oh, hits grounded. Look.
Okay.
Oh, great patience. I expected the GI from Nitty, but he really held his nerve there.
Yeah, I think it's because the initial GI they did got so blown up. But I mean, this is the thing. I don't think that is repeatable. I'm not convinced that Nitty's offense is going to be consistent throughout an entire game, let alone a whole first to 10. It's getting counter hits on PAKs.
That's just another grab got beat out.
Okay, Talon at full bar here. Decides to spend it, but now we're going to be dealing with reverse ring-out pressure potentially. No, it looks like we're going to stay in the middle of the stage. No, that is gross. Yeah, I mean, no reason to like worry about spending your meter now. You got the momentum out of the bar. Just don't get hit by the 2 curses and you should be golden, right?
Yeah, if I was Sly, I would be very aggressively stepping here.
Yeah, sure. There you go.
Oh, can you get punished? Oh, there we go.
I hope that lag spike happened within the game. That way you had forever and a day to realize that the second hit whiffed, so you could just do like grab a drink and then 6K and get your punish. Okay, gets a grab here for the first time in a long time. We already have a curse. Man, have we not seen really any curse combos, huh?
Yeah, he's got 4-6B a handful of times, but has never really been able to utilize any other curse combos.
Like, look at that damage just now. Like, okay, we've got 2 curses. Are we ever gonna like? He doesn't really need it, yeah. So I'm totally cool with like spending it like that. We still have Wind Charmer. Okay, so he ends up spending C, and this for the first time, basically in this whole set, we have Nitty going up 2 rounds before Sly does. This can potentially turn the tide.
Yeah, but especially since Sly really burned a lot of meter, he's only gonna have the 1 bar, and Nitty's pretty much 1 combo away from getting a bar with counter. So it's right now it's about as best as Nitty could hope for in this current scenario. Great interrupt. Sly's
Both
been
of them
really
are challenging with 6Ks on hold strings. It's kind of a lot. It's kind of funny to see.
got timing down. Go to the reset.
I mean, he's basically dead to the combo. Yeah, I think that's gone. No, it's not. Okay. Sauce still has a CE though. I don't know. Okay, well, if it's gonna be a counter hit into like a weird reset combo.
Oh my god.
Nitty kind of going out of his way to lose all of his health there, but he still has that bar. I don't know if it's going to come into play or not, but it's ever looming, ever scary. I think it hit.
It's going to catch.
It did, yes. He went for the back
I really thought Sly made an incredible read of
me
doing a bullet stance and was just baiting out the meter expecting it, but still ended up pressing a button.
I think it was, the scramble was simply too much. It was too overwhelming. I feel like I need Nitty to win another game like that before I'm convinced that this is the change he needed. Still not entirely convinced that, because I just feel like he was right a lot. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that was the only thing that changed there, and that's not necessarily consistent.
Yeah, he never really changed anything to counter what's been giving Sly all of his advantages, how Sly's been racking up his damage. Nitty just happened to be right on some more scramble situations, and that's just the non-conductive being able to, win a first to 10. Being good at scramble gets you a game or 2, but never really gives you the edge that you're looking for in a first to 10.
That's really the difference between a first to 10 and like a full set, right? Is that you can, if you just happen to be right about like 3 or 4 different counter hit situations, you can win an entire like tournament set, and it'll be totally fine. It doesn't really work that way in a first to 10. That's why these extended sets require different skills that are equally valuable.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of players that thrive on short sets. Well, there's some players that we got a ring out here, but. It's definitely very interesting because it comes down to now, like, how I think in terms of first instance how flexible you are of your playstyle, rather than in tournament, it's how well you can go cycle between 1 to 3 playstyles that work based on what your opponent's doing.
And it is important to also note that, like, okay, so this game has literally been 100% Nitty, right? And you gotta wonder, in Sly's position, did he end up, like, pre-adapting to certain bits of pressure? Did he, like, start thinking, okay, I won 5 games, and now I'm best to change it up so that way I never allow Nitty any sure footing? I feel like if you just continue to do what you were doing before, it'll be fine. But I find Sly is hesitating now. He's, like, losing stamina. And this was definitely a situation where, like, the thing that Nitty had to do was change up his offense in a way that was going to be successful. But if Sly, on the other end, ends up changing it for him, then he kind of doesn't have to worry, right?
Yeah, if pre-adapting your opponent is extremely risky, especially, I feel at that point that's almost more of a read on your opponent rather than fixing your playstyle. And I think especially in first 10, I think pre-adapting is one of the worst things to do because you have games to work with, and so let your opponent show or prove that they can actually adapt before you change up your game plan.
Yeah, exactly.
I think, like you said, Sly kind of just, I think he kind of just sat there for most of the offense. He wasn't really trying to be aggressive on defense anymore. He wasn't trying to run the offense through 3 or 4 or 5 turns. He slowed it down, and that, quite frankly, doesn't help in the matchup. As a Talon player, I would want to speed up this match as much as possible.
Especially, again, because the speed up was working, right? it was working perfectly fine. I don't know what the change was about. We do see a lot more in-close sidesteps from Nitty that are netting him a handful of 2-2-Bs that I think are giving Sly a little bit harder time to figure out. So there's that hard sidestep yet again.
Oh, 8B!
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that was supposed to be 2-2-B, but I don't know. Okay, here we go. Sly trying to get in with some of that stance and stuff. Yeah, 4-4-B ends up getting him in. Fantastic duck yet again.
I would really like to see him use the back turn grab more. I think Nitty's been showing that he's actually comfortable standing up. I think he's now time to cash in on that kind of knowledge that you've seen.
Fantastic 4-4-B ended up solidifying the round, going over that 2A. I wonder if that's the kind of gameplay that we're going to see more often. It seems like Nitty is also kind of worried about that. Okay, so now we ended up going for the A+B lethal hit. Okay, we decided going into bar. I like this, because Nitty tends to only spend bar at the end of rounds. He feels more comfortable trying to deal with the soul charge pressure that somebody's able to throw out at him until he's in yellow. Very, man, you would think that Nitty would be the kind of person who would want to play Siegfried if this is the case, that he didn't want to, blow anything until he was in yellow life. These challenges are potentially a bit scary now. Okay.
I think, great retrack. I really think Sly, really needs to, on the 3AB, he's trying to call it out by counter-hitting the hold. I think it's way better just to take the sidestep. You get more damage, and I think it's easier, quite frankly.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe it's because it's slower. Again, Talon sidestep, not the best, and so perhaps because of, an online connection, he doesn't necessarily feel comfortable going for something like that. He would rather try and take a bet on something like a 6K. But I totally understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, it definitely comes down to preferability. Sly's also noticing that after these REs, going into Winsult A+B is really show that Nitty's pressing a button early and getting countered for it. Great match. This should be it.
That looked like he was in the air a million years before the actual combo put him in the air. Am I weird? It really seemed like that was not the typical air bounce.
No, it seemed like Tom got caught on a jump that increased her height, and I'll be honest, I think Nitty was shocked that he's like, I want to press a button, it's going to hit on the landing. So I think he actually figured out 4-6B potentially, how that was. Full crouch 3K into CE.
Yeah, full crouch 3. Well, we also saw earlier, full crouch 3K on whiff into full crouch 3K. Which is kind of a lot. Okay, here we go.
Does not shock me.
Is he going to be able to use this ring out pressure here? No punish on a -16 move. That's very important information for Nitty to have, but he doesn't get his punish either. Okay, we're going to 2-2. 1.5 bars on Sly's side. We'll see if he can turn that into 2 if he decides to spend meter very quickly. Getting more out of that RE cancel.
I think Nitty's really got to start figuring out his best options out of this, because he's got counter hit one too many times out of those when he has the advantageous move blocked RE.
Kind of a lazy piece of meter usage. I feel like it would have been much better if we just ended up saving it. So he decides to spend his before Sly is able to take it back. Seems like both of them have very similar approaches to dealing with the opponent in Soul Charge, which is just to go in and press buttons.
It really is. They don't seem to they don't want to wait it out. They really just want to get in, try to steal a turn back to prevent the turn from happening. Oh, great fake on the well-running K.
He was kind of expecting a GI there. Ended up stalling his pressure in Soul Charge just a little bit, but it's going to get Sly back into the driver's seat now.
I think it was a big game for Sly to win. I think that was actually a round that I think got away from Nitty in the end. And that having that flip from being what would have been a 5-4, now to 6-3, really, I feel like that really hurts as a player mid-set when you have the momentum and you're about to start almost evening up the set.
Yeah, you need to make that
losing
comeback,
a game that you had.
Not enough.
Yeah, losing the game that you probably felt like you had. Let's see if Nitty can keep his mental composure and reset himself back into this game.
About as neutral of a stage as we could possibly get. Haven't seen a lot of ringouts from either player. all that much. Neither reverse nor forward right now, so I don't know if that's really going to change the stage like this, but we'll see. Okay, alrighty.
Okay, I guess the hitboxes, we can't hit people in this game.
Wow, he got GI'd and then just waddled around a little bit into a 2-2B. I find that interesting.
It's definitely not the option I would have chose, but it clearly worked out. I do like the 6K right there, trying to catch a mash.
Yeah, the fact of the matter is, Nitty has not had a good time trying to punish that thing. Like, the last match, they were basically trading 6Ks, and none of them ended up getting punished, despite the fact that Nitty was clearly attempting to.
Oh, great knee kick.
Catch. Oh, that RE cancel is simply too good. You're going to have to do like a sidestep into a 3AB or something in order to catch the Talum RE cancel in a spot like that. Can't go for a vertical, really.
Hold on. The Wind Charmer, I believe that's the stance called, tucking the full crouch 3K. Or it might be Wind Bear.
Sly continuously choosing
late
options,
option.
assuming that Nitty is going to be ducking, but we really haven't seen that all that much. He's trying to catch that full crouch 3K, and it's just, it only comes out in neutral. It's not coming out as like a piece of counterplay.
Oh, that hurts. Sly felt, I'm pretty sure Sly felt like he got his lethal hit and he got lethal hit right back for it. Oh!
Well, alright.
I mean,
if I'm in Sly's position, I honestly don't think that's that big of a deal.
no, you made him spend meter. You're essentially even. You have slight
you
meter range, and you got a guard.
Like, yeah, you got everything going for you.
I'm not gonna. I feel like he probably feels a little robbed. That was about as far to the side as that CE goes now. So, but definitely, I would say.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, well, he no longer has any right to complain.
Yeah,
that one made less sense than the CE. Another fantastic duck. It's a fantastic punish. He wants to try and win this round without. Well, I was about to say without spending the Guard Crush, but it seems like he wanted to spend the Guard Crush on that round. That's kind of crazy.
I think it's definitely something you should really look into keeping Guard Gauge. I think it's such a powerful tool in this game. If you can keep your opponent on red without breaking it, it puts a lot of mental pressure on your opponent. Sly's going for the kill right
here. It definitely forces people to make a lot of mistakes. I appreciate going into Soul Charge and then immediately moving back, just allowing Nitty to like make the mistakes. Now just continue with this. Alright, well. I really feel like you need to continue with the string, man. Like, I don't know if Nitty has really shown that he has any level of counterplay in a spot like that. I feel like we're giving away too much credit.
I think it might be to the pre-adapting again, where...
Yeah,
okay.
Wow, that was supposed to be a 2-2B for sure. The 4-6B doesn't have any hitbox there. That blows my mind apart. Full crouch 3K on -14, alright.
-14. I really think Sly needs to understand that, like, Nitty at this point just doesn't want to take a guard break.
Oh no!
I really start
he's
trying
got that Guard Crush.
Hunker down and take mids
to back off. Now he wants the Guard Crush to happen. Now he wants it. Okay. Yep. I don't think he can kill though, which means that Nitty still has the meter.
I really like that option.
I feel like Soul Charge was definitely the option there. Not only are you a character in Soul Charge at that point, which he has gotten a lot of success with so far in the set, but you still have the threat of the CE. Like, you don't need to bet it on a CE in a spot like that, only when you're like truly in a desperate situation. You could have gotten a lot more offensive pressure. I can't remember the life totals. Was he dead to CE? I feel like he was.
No, he was not dead to CE. He was probably about 40% health at the time, so yeah. I think Soul Charge there was a much safer option. It guarantees that you're still in the game. You know, the CE, what we saw, it gets you killed. At least the Soul Charge guarantees you still have a life to play afterwards. And I think, especially for Zossi, is such an explosive CE. Like, you have an 80 damage grab in that CE. That's extremely powerful.
We're
doing this again. Oh my god.
I guess this is just like an interaction that happens a lot. Try to like use 60k as a tech trap. That was kind of crazy pants. Okay, we're like changing up like the rhythm on some of our time. We're not really changing up what moves we're using. We're changing up the length at which we hold certain strings on both player sides. Like, I think one of the main things that was catching Sly a lot in the middle of the set. Oh, did you get it? No, you didn't.
Oh, no.
Very, very close. Very scary.
I like the RE option there. I think it's a very strong option because unless Nitty's gonna full commit on an A plus B, you're not dying to anything else there.
Yeah, no way. But yeah, like, I think the thing that was really catching Sly in the middle of the set were 3 ABs that were not fully charged, nor were they immediate, giving Sly just enough time to think that he could potentially try to get like a 6K in the middle. But that's something that kind of came and went, and I feel like Sly is trying to do the same thing with his strings at this point, with like things like Purple Ray.
Yeah, I really think that something that's against Oz, if you block 3A in the B, I think you should almost always sidestep if you can. Because even if you get run countered by the B, you actually don't get counter hit. You just take a little bit of damage, and it really isn't the worst scenario. Goes for the reset here.
Still there's that with that 6K. It's blowing it. It's getting him blown up every once in a while, but Sly is willing to take that bet. Jump A of all things.
Interesting.
Oh man, try to get out of there.
The call out there.
Okay, decides to spend the bar. It's effectively a free bar at the moment. Yeah, immediately catches sidestep on whiff. Shades of Pheromantra's going on right now. 2K of all things. Okay, ends up chasing down the reversal edge, getting Zasa two rounds. See if he can keep it calm and collected. Just constantly allow Sly to hang himself.
Sly's trying to fish for that tip range lethal hit. It's very close. Finally catch with the 4A neutral. He's been trying almost every Soul Charge Sly has to catch him with 4A as the starting move.
Overall, his aggressive pressure, and also I feel like Sly has gone for a mid in that spot in Soul Charge every time. I can't remember the last time we saw a low, but it certainly wasn't punished.
I think the one time we saw a low, it was on an air combo, so it didn't actually combo. So the one time he would have actually used it was the wrong... Oh!
Fantastic duck. That was like a committed duck. Ends up catching the duck here. Is that going to do it? It's not. Oh, no. Instead, the follow-up will. So, okay.
It was a very bold play by Sly, because I feel like back turn B, it hurts a lot from Zaz. But very good read overall.
2 bars to 1. We did see a little glimmer of yellow earlier from Nitty's Gargage. I don't know if that's really going to come into play here. More fantastic offensive pressure from Sly. It's still working out. Decides to spend the bar here. I don't entirely like that, but I guess he really wants to try and go for like the Gargage type trouble. Getting a lot of pressure out of that. That was supposed to be another 2-2B. He's still in Soul Charge. Okay, now he's not, but he has another bar. He's not going to need it, though.
Yeah, I was saying, as long as he gets the combo right here. Oh my, he's still got 30 damage to work with.
That was like half the combo, yeah.
Yeah, he's still got 30 or 40 damage left in that combo. Really strong. I feel like you saw it at the end, shades of like where I think Slytiger should really start taking his play style, being very aggressive on offense. Nitty hasn't shown the the strong enough defense to be able to hold it back or keep it at bay. So I really think if Sly can keep pressing the issue more, I think you'll see a lot better results rather than kind of sitting back and being a little too respectful at times.
I think there are also some times where Sly is in the same vein of being too respectful, not just like the overall abstract ideas, but within the pressure itself. He ends up going for the safe non-committal options more often than not. When he was going for like the risky stuff, it ends up panning out significantly more often. I mean, it's 7-4. So it's really not a bad idea, I don't think.
Man, Nitty has been correct on these RE cancels a lot recently. Oh, can you get the third? Oh, third curse. Decides to opt for the,
he was trying for like a ring out, I guess. Oh, and you're dead.
Oh, goodbye. Live by the ring out, die by the ring out.
One good turn deserves another and all that, yeah.
Victory goes to the last battle.
Oh, man.
Fight.
Not really going to change anything here. I feel like they're both still effectively going for the same kind of strategy.
Man, Sly has almost blocked every 2P plus K. That's incredible in my mind. I don't think I've ever... That move is hard to block in general.
A lot of pressure here. Decides to actually fully sidestep this time around. Rather than trying to jam a 6K. Gets a lot more damage, as you were talking about before. Keeps assuming that the A plus B is going to connect, that Nitty's going to duck or mash, and he never seems to. Alright, well that's it. I'm not entirely sure what Nitty was planning on doing there. Is this kind of like the bait, the setup that Sly was trying to set up previously when he wouldn't complete the string? I'm not sure.
I honestly think Nitty got caught trying to do full crouch 3K, and he just got caught in some of the frames that doesn't tech crouch.
Well, that's a weird choice. It's a weird choice to do that there. Yeah, but I guess you're right.
I think that's what I saw, but oh, great lead way in the mix. I really think he needs to start mixing that grab. Nitty has pretty much blocked that mid every single time.
Yeah, I guess it's just a matter of, like, he would rather just take safe pressure there every time, rather than allow another full crouch 3K to just end his pressure. Jams in another 6K yet again. Just solidify 8-4. He's now got double the score.
Definitely
2 more
starting to
games
feel like
for him
he's...
and he'll be set.
I feel like that was a huge. I feel like that was a huge moment where Sly, I think, has started to really figure out one of the more optimal play styles to play against Nitty. And now, as long as he doesn't pre-adapt and makes Nitty earn, the adaptation, I think this might be a very quick few games.
Yeah, I would agree. It's just a matter if Nitty, because even with this strategy, which I think is the right strategy for Sly, Nitty can just sometimes have those games where he ends up getting all counter hits all day, every day, and the game is over very quickly. Without really any adaptation to Sly's offense, he's just going to get a ton of counter hits like this, and Sly is going to fall apart. But he should not change his game plan if that ends up being the case. God, if you had just done A plus B every time, you would have been golden, dude. You would have been so golden.
I think it was Shades. Oh, gonna take a lot of damage here. I think he was getting shades of I think it was 2 games ago where he tried to win the game with an A plus B and got lethal hit for it to lose the game.
Yeah, I
think he was feeling I think he had that in the back of his head.
Doesn't have enough space to try and whiff punish something like that. We were seeing in the beginning of the set, seeing a lot of Sly going for 4-4-Bs as a whiff punish, and sometimes they work, sometimes they really didn't. I feel like maybe he's gotten scared out of that option at this point. Another block on the back end.
Push to the wall. Oh, does it wall splat? Look, it's
not respecting the orb cancels.
Oh, that was.
Alright, well, that's it.
Okay, I was gonna say he missed the original.
Wait, what? 4-4-A plus B definitely combos there, right?
Yeah, he had. I think he had 3 or 4. I think he could have 1K'd it when a combo would have killed.
Yeah, I could see spending the bar just to make absolutely sure if all you felt that you were going to get was a 1K at the end of that combo, but I'm like 100% sure he could have ended safely, efficiently, without spending bar. Not that it seems to really matter, ending up getting an RE burst.
I like going...
Okay.
Oh boy.
We're getting a good counter hit here.
8-8, interesting Oki option there.
Yeah, he likes to do that. The problem is that I feel like he does not mix up with the middle that much, unless I'm missing it.
Full crouch 3K as soon as first opportunity.
It's virtually always a good idea to duck against the Ptolemy Soul Charge, especially if there's some sort of range disparity. Okay, here we go. The 6K jam yet again. The fact that we haven't punished a single 6K is a big deal.
Yeah, not being able to get a free curse off of that is huge in this
matchup. Not a lack of trying. There was a round where he tried like multiple times and just didn't take.
Oh, there it is! Oh.
Here we see 1. 1 is not going to be enough.
Yeah, that's going to be consistent. I understand it's an ugly mix to take, but I really think you got to preserve your life there.
It's been working out for him so much recently. I think Nitty has just been like, wow, you're really going to duck in these spots more often than not. That's kind of crazy, dude, because of like,
really the amount of damage bar immediately.
Oh, I see it. I see a reverse mix-up coming our way. Yeah, decides to spend bar, but that doesn't mean you're free. Okay, decides to spend the additional bar. Does Nitty decide to spend back? No, he's gonna die.
No, I think in that scenario...
Was he dead if he ducked that? Can you get the reverse ring out in between the K and the A? Or is it too slow?
I actually, because the A's a high.
Yeah.
Before they, I think he could have potentially got Wall Rising B. I think you have enough frames. So I think it's actually pretty slow between the final hits. I think Wall Rising B actually would have been the counterplay that would have worked.
I feel like it would have been really tough. You never know with those moves that start in crouch. It's very important to note what a lot of people end up missing is that there's a big disparity between moves that start in crouch and moves that tech crouch. And moves that tech crouch, you're fine. Moves that just start out from crouch, you can still potentially get back into a high. It can be potentially tough timing. So it's kind of a shame that we didn't end up seeing the Wall Rising that could have gotten him the win there. The one time that Sly decided to take that level of risk.
Wow, actually didn't get the 6K punch. It's kind of shocking. Oh, immediate sidestep on whiff. Really starting to figure out that Sly hasn't really been... I don't think Sly's been containing him that well. I think
not all that much.
Nitty right here. I was gonna say, you know what Sly's looking for right here.
It's the same thing that you look for whenever your back is to the wall.
Yeah, I'm gonna take my easy way out if I can.
No punish on the 3B, but I do actually... It didn't work out, but I do appreciate botching the 3B punish so that you can just sidestep a bunch and trade up this stage positioning, because that punish is really not going to mean all that much in the long run, and he had a lot of work to do, so I appreciate going for something like that instead.
Keep on getting the punch. Got 2 curses now, so one mistake from Sly is going to be a lot of damage. Oh, boy.
This is what we're talking about. That's about Half-Life, yeah.
Oh, goes
Actually gets up for the 4-6B, smart stuff, so he decides to spend bar here.
If I was there, I would try to keep my position at this at this wall where you can't get rung out. I think
that scary ring out is ever looming. I don't know. Wow, the 4-6B just 100% jammed in there.
I would have opted for Soul Charge, right? I think being very safe of him. He had the read, and it has worked out a lot of times on that same stance position. That's worked out about 3 or 4 times this set.
It's worked out a lot, and it's also not worked out a lot. So it's important to remember the grand scope of things and see like which things are working, which ones aren't. The 2-2B tech crouch end up saving the day there. Sly struggling to come up with some level of Soul Charge pressure. Ends up taking a bar though. That's kind of a big deal. Oh boy, is he dead?
Big,
No, he just gets a good amount of damage.
It's a good amount of damage, but you will have to eat an Oki here.
No, but you can't sidestep there. Doesn't get his punish and also tries to match afterwards. That was supposed to be a 2-2B for sure.
Oh man. Didn't get the wall splat, but ended up closing out the round. Oh, great punish.
The counter hit hunting. I-12 beats I-14. Tries for the I-14 yet again though, and ends up getting his man. And just backing away. Yeah, that 6BB not really doing a lot of damage there.
Oh, this is going to be a ton of damage. Really feel you got to get up on.
Yeah, less than I thought it was going to be, but yeah, it ended up working out. Okay, decides to spend Soul Charge kind of aggressively here. I'm kind of surprised by this. Not really something we see Nitty do all that often. But it is successful. It forces Sly. Even if Sly didn't run into that, it was still a successful Soul Charge because it forced Talum to spend bar there. And the resource race would have ended up winning the day later on in the match. But the fact that Sly was able to just run right into that is pretty solid for Nitty. So what are we at, 9-5 now?
9-5 currently.
Boy, I know that better than anyone.
But man, I really like the 2-2B option against Sly, especially in Soul Charge, because essentially I feel like a lot of Talum players boil down that neutral game to 6-6A and 6-6B. And if you time it well, if you have a tech crouching move off a sidestep, it's a really powerful.
Yeah.
It really kind of beats both options, or makes both options incredibly hard to land.
And it's also important to note that is very much not the only thing that you have to do when you're Talum and Soul Charge. You can do other things, and I think that really kind of separates a lot of Talum players who will be much more comfortable going for just being in Soul Charge and allowing the threat of being in Soul Charge be enough to force somebody to just jam a tech crouch in there, which then will allow you to get like a whiff punish. And then you don't have to be the person, as Talum and Soul Charge, that initiates the game plan. Just you activating Soul Charge was enough to initiate the game plan, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you can extend that even further, where I think even for a lot of people, Soul Charge moves are really powerful. Great seed to finish up this round. But a lot of Soul Charges are very powerful, the moves are great, but I feel like a lot of people get tunneled in on those moves and make their gameplay very simple. I think being able to mix in just normal moves, like that aren't Soul Charge extended, kind of creates a much more threatening offense. I think it's something that maybe Sly wants to look into when he uses his Soul Charge more.
End up getting that first round with the CE. Boy, oh boy, it really seems like Sly is having a tough time getting any level of success on this stage specifically. Like the other game felt a lot more in Nitty's favor. Again, we're not going to see a ring out here. We're just going to see a chunk of damage.
Gonna go for the reset here. I really like it here. Take the low. Oh man, I really feel like taking the low there. Oh, ran into it. Didn't even sidestep.
Okay, is he going to be able to stop it? Doesn't actually get any meter from that. Just gets through the bar. That's kind of a big deal. No, the 4-6B. Okay, ends up getting the back turn. Man, Sly trying all kinds of ways to avoid that spaghetti situation, but it ends up working out. I guess he got overly excited when he saw that he had stolen Nitty's bar. And although that is a boon, the fact that you lost the round on top of it means that it wasn't really that impactful.
Yeah, you still have to climb. You still have a mountain to climb. And Nitty will get his bars back over time.
Okay, decides to spend a bar yet again. It always seems like Sly is the first person to initiate meter usage. Oh boy.
Maybe he's real. I think he knows after that last 2-2B that maybe that's an option he wants to start using until Sly can prove that he can win against it. Calling out like.
Yeah, I guess 4-6B is 100% the way to go in that spot, huh?
I don't think so. I think he's not a lethal hit off the because if he does the sidestep off that instead of the backsway, it will lethal hit. That unfortunately you do have to eat a dumb. It's really dumb to have to eat a mix a lot of times if you don't have an OS. But yeah, but Nate's been right more often than not. I think actually off of that off of like round ending REs. He's been a little rough in the middle.
Yeah, the REs that are overwhelmingly obvious in offensive pressure, despite the fact that the move that Nitty is using is RE safe, or not RE safe in the sense of I don't remember the input, but the multi-hit one that is good on block that Zos does that they use for a lot of guard damage. I can't remember the input for that, but he ends up using that a lot and ends up getting like overwhelmed by RE, but then he can just sidestep or go for a 4-6B, some sort of challenge that allows him to get whatever he needs at the end of a round.
Yeah, it's definitely been proven out. Oh, great mix. There we go. I love the idea. Finally starting to utilize maybe some more grabs.
I haven't seen that a lot from Sly so far. We ended up seeing it from Nitty, and it's gotten mixed reviews. It ends up getting like, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't.
Man, I really would have liked Sly just to continue backstepping. I think when you're up and around by this much, even if you're playing a character like Tom where you're thriving close range, forcing your opponent to come in and potentially make a mistake is super valuable. Oh, I really like the idea on the reset, because 3AB is not going to kill there. So I actually do appreciate him trying to go for a reset to kill the round.
Just love that there were so many times where Sly was just wrong about whether or not Nitty was going to duck or do a full crouch 3K. Because he had a 1K in that spot like over and over again, and he was just never right. He just always added in more layers of unnecessary Oki. Sometimes you can get in your own head about that sort of thing. Alright, actually capped it. Wait, is he it?
Oh no!
Oh my god. The
You can't
classic
be that
DOS blunder done by Slytiger himself. Just sitting there waiting for the ring out to happen rather than making some level of activity to make it happen.
Oh, big counter hit there. Nitty pressing a button again a little too early. Oh, it whiffed!
Enough
Oh,
range.
grip!
Ends up blocking the low again. Nitty's got to be kicking himself for that. How many times has he gone for the low and Sly ends up blocking it for the punish? Then the one time he went for mid, which is the obvious option, the one that Zos wants to get, he was right. So he's like, well, surely he's going to have to block mid this time. And Sly, continuing to block low, ends up losing half his life on what is potentially the last round of this set. But he's got a lot of meter on his side. We'll see if he can do anything with it, trying to set up some awkward mid-time
I would
pressure.
really like Nitty's soul charge here. Oh god, it's not. That's not real.
Yeah, it's over.
Oh, yeah.
All right. It was really just a matter of an endless amount of counter hit hunting.